There is something deeply powerful about the way a woman connects to her favorite position. It is not merely about the physicality of the act, nor is it about the angles, the rhythm, or even the technical mastery behind it. It is far more profound than that. When a woman tells you, either with words or with her body, that a certain position is her favorite, what she is really doing is offering you a window into her inner world. She is telling you, this is where I feel most alive, most open, most receptive to the energy we share. And if you are wise enough to listen, to observe, and to act with presence, then you hold in your hands an opportunity to create a memory she will never release, no matter how much time passes. It begins with understanding that her favorite position is not random. It has meaning for her. Perhaps it allows her to feel secure, perhaps it amplifies her sense of control, or maybe it frees her to surrender completely without fear. There are layers to this, and if you only focus on your own pleasure, you will miss the golden key she has handed you. But if you tune into her, if you honor the gift of that position, then what you do during that time will echo in her mind and body long after the moment ends. She will find herself replaying it, craving it, measuring other experiences against it. That is the kind of impression you want to leave, not one that fades with the night, but one that lingers in her soul. So what should you do during her favorite position that will make her never forget you? The first thing is presence. You must bring every ounce of your attention into that moment. Too often, people move mechanically, going through motions they have memorized, as if intimacy were a routine instead of a dance. But she will know instantly if you are merely repeating a pattern. She will feel it in the way your touch lacks curiosity, the way your eyes glaze past hers, the way your energy drifts elsewhere. Presence is magnetic. Presence says, right now, you are the only person in my universe. That alone can turn an ordinary act into an unforgettable memory. Look into her eyes if the position allows it. Let her see that you are fully engaged, not only with her body, but with her being. If she closes her eyes, let your hands communicate what your eyes cannot. Caress her as if each curve is a discovery you are grateful to explore. The second thing is rhythm, but not rhythm in the way most people imagine it. It is not about speed, nor is it about stamina. Rhythm is about harmony. It is about sensing her breathing, the subtle arch of her back, the tightening of her muscles, the sounds that escape her lips, and responding in sync with all of it. This requires sensitivity, patience, and a willingness to adjust. When you move in harmony with her, she feels like you are dancing with her soul. She feels understood without words, and in that state, she will allow herself to go deeper. Imagine the difference between someone who forces their way forward without regard and someone who listens to the symphony of her body and becomes a part of it. Which one do you think she will never forget? But presence and rhythm are not enough. What you do with your hands, your lips, your voice during her favorite position matters just as much. Your hands should not remain idle. Explore her skin, trace the lines of her body, hold her firmly when she needs to feel anchored, or gently when she craves tenderness. Your lips should not remain silent either. Whisper into her ear, let your breath brush against her neck. Tell her what she does to you, what you feel in that moment, how intoxicating her presence is. Words spoken in the heat of intimacy can become etched in memory in ways that physical sensations alone cannot. Imagine her remembering not just how you made her body feel, but also how you made her heart swell with the affirmation of your voice. That combination is unforgettable. Now let us talk about unpredictability. A woman's favorite position may already be familiar to her, but what makes it unforgettable is when you take what she knows and elevate it into something new. Surprise her, not in a way that disregards her comfort, but in a way that expands her pleasure. Maybe you change the tempo when she least expects it, slow when she anticipates fast, tender when she braces for intensity. Maybe you incorporate touch in places that she didn't expect while maintaining the position she loves. This is about giving her the comfort of familiarity and the thrill of novelty all at once. When you strike that balance, you awaken both her body and her imagination. Equally important is the emotional current you carry into the moment. Too many men underestimate the role of emotion in intimacy, thinking it is solely about the body, but what lingers in a woman's memory is rarely just the physical sensation. It is how you made her feel emotionally in that position. Did you make her feel desired beyond measure? Did you make her feel safe enough to let go completely? Did you make her feel powerful, worshipped, cherished, or adored? If your actions, your gaze, your touch, and your words combine to evoke those emotions, then you are not simply touching her body. You are engraving yourself into her spirit. That is what she will never forget. There is also a layer of intentionality that must not be overlooked. When she is in her favorite position, you are standing at the intersection of her vulnerability and her ecstasy. This is a sacred space, whether you treat it that way or not. If you are careless, she will feel used, but if you approach it as a moment of reverence, she will feel honored. Treat that position as though it were a temple, something to respect, something to cherish. Let her see in your actions that you are not there just for your own release, but for a shared transcendence. When you approach intimacy with reverence, you elevate it from something physical to something spiritual. And spirituality is unforgettable. Do not underestimate the power of aftercare, even in the middle of her favorite position. Sometimes what you do when you pause, when you slow down, when you hold her close, is more powerful than the motion itself. Stroke her hair, kiss her shoulder, press your forehead against hers. These small acts of tenderness tell her that you are attuned to her, that you are not simply chasing an end goal, but are savoring every part of the journey. That is how you deepen her trust, and trust is the soil where unforgettable memories grow. And then there is intensity, the kind of intensity that is not about force, but about passion. Passion can be gentle, it can be fierce, it can be anything in between, but what makes it unforgettable is when it feels authentic. Do not perform, do not mimic what you have seen or heard elsewhere. Let your true desire show. Let her feel the depth of your hunger for her. When you allow your passion to flow naturally, it becomes contagious. She will mirror it, amplify it, and together you will create a crescendo that lingers far beyond the moment. Finally, remember that unforgettable intimacy is never just about doing more. It is about being more present, more aware, more intentional, more authentic. When you step into her favorite position, you step into her sanctuary. What you choose to do there will either fade like countless other moments or ignite something within her that she will carry for the rest of her life. She will measure other encounters against it. She will think of you when she least expects, and she will never forget that in that moment with you, she felt fully alive, fully seen, and fully cherished. There is another layer to what you do during her favorite position that often goes unnoticed, and yet it is the very essence of unforgettable intimacy, the art of anticipation. Anticipation is not about prolonging or withholding for the sake of control, but about crafting an experience where she never quite knows what is coming next, only that it will be deeply satisfying. When you learn to play with anticipation, you awaken her senses in a way that burns itself into memory. Slow down when she expects you to accelerate. Pause to kiss her deeply when she braces for more motion. Allow silence to fill the space, only to break it with a whisper in her ear. In these moments, her body is not just reacting. It is yearning, it is craving, it is suspended in a delicious tension that only you can release. That kind of anticipation turns her favorite position into a canvas for unforgettable artistry. What deepens this further is your ability to pay attention to the details she might not even be conscious of herself. Notice how her breath changes when you adjust your angle. Notice the way her fingertips dig into the sheets or trace your skin when she is close to losing control. Notice the sounds she makes, the subtle shifts in her body language, the way her eyes close or open wider depending on what she is feeling. These small details are the language of her desire, and if you can speak it fluently, you will unlock a level of intimacy that surpasses the physical. She may not even realize how closely you are observing her, but she will feel it in the way you respond at the perfect moment, the way you adjust without needing to be told, the way you seem to understand her without words. That is the mark of someone she will never forget. Equally important is your willingness to let go of your ego. Too many men approach intimacy as though it is a performance, something to prove, something to dominate. But unforgettable intimacy does not come from proving your worth. It comes from dissolving your ego and becoming fully immersed in her pleasure. When she senses that your focus is not on how you look, how long you last, or how impressive you think you are, but entirely on her experience, her pleasure, her emotional release, she relaxes into a state of trust that few men ever earn. In that state, she is not holding back, she is not calculating, she is not restrained, she is free, and that freedom is what she will associate with you. There is also the dimension of contrast, knowing when to be firm and when to be gentle, when to command and when to surrender, when to be silent and when to speak. Contrast keeps her engaged because it mirrors the duality of her own desires. She wants to feel powerful and delicate, in control and completely undone, worshipped and devoured. If you can create an experience in her favorite position where she feels the fullness of that duality, where she experiences both softness and intensity, she will remember it not as a single act, but as an entire spectrum of emotions you awakened within her. It will feel complete, whole, multidimensional, and that is something that rarely fades. And then comes the energy you project. Energy is invisible, but it is felt in every moment. If you carry the energy of impatience, she will sense it. If you carry the energy of distraction, she will sense it. But if you carry the energy of reverence, of devotion, of raw passion mixed with tenderness, she will sense that too, and it will stay with her. Your energy is as important as your technique. It communicates what your words cannot. You could touch her in the same way as another man, but if your energy is different, the entire experience transforms. She may not always be able to explain it, but she will feel it in her bones. That is the difference between being remembered and being unforgettable. Another secret lies in allowing vulnerability to flow both ways. Many men expect a woman to be vulnerable in intimacy, but they forget that their own vulnerability is just as important. When you allow her to see your raw desire, your unguarded passion, your genuine emotion, you invite her into a space where intimacy becomes mutual. She will never forget the man who allowed himself to be seen, who did not hide behind a facade of control, but instead shared his truth in the heat of the moment. Vulnerability creates a bridge between two souls, and when it happens during her favorite position, the bridge becomes an unshakable memory. Never underestimate the power of stillness. There is a time for motion, for rhythm, for intensity, but there is also immense power in pausing, in holding her close, in letting the weight of your bodies pressed together speak louder than any movement could. Stillness allows her to feel the depth of your presence without distraction. It allows her to feel your heartbeat, your breath, your warmth. In those moments of stillness, she will realize that intimacy is not only about what is happening physically, but about the communion of two beings who are fully present with each other, and it is often those quiet, still moments that echo the loudest in memory. Now consider the role of creativity. A woman may have a favorite position, but within that position lies infinite possibility. You can shift angles, introduce different kinds of touch, combine it with kissing, whispering, caressing, or simply holding her. Creativity is not about doing something extravagant or complicated. It is about refusing to let routine steal the magic. When you bring creativity into her favorite position, you show her that you are not simply relying on what works, but that you are committed to making every moment unique. That commitment is unforgettable. Your voice is another tool often underestimated. The tone, the depth, the softness, or the growl of your voice can penetrate her in ways that rival physical touch. Speak to her, moan with her, breathe her name into the air between you. Use your voice as an extension of your desire, and she will carry those sounds with her long after the moment has passed. Think about it, she may forget the exact details of a touch or a movement, but the memory of your voice in her ear, full of passion and reverence, can replay endlessly in her mind. That is the power of voice when used with intention. Let us also talk about generosity. True generosity in intimacy is about giving without keeping score, about pouring into her without thinking of what you are getting in return. When you are generous in her favorite position, when you are completely invested in her experience, she will not only feel it in her body, but in her heart. She will know she is with someone who values her pleasure, her fulfillment, her ecstasy, and that knowledge will set you apart from anyone else she has known. Generosity builds trust, and trust breeds attachment. When she trusts that you will always show up with generosity, she will never forget you. At the same time, know the value of restraint. Restraint is not denial, it is control. It is the ability to pace yourself, to pace her, to guide the experience in such a way that you stretch the moment into eternity. Restraint allows her to climb higher, to crave more, to feel that each wave of pleasure is bigger than the last. It is the art of not rushing, of savoring, of creating a build-up so powerful that when release finally comes, it overwhelms her completely. If you can master restraint, you can transform her favorite position into the most intoxicating memory of her life. Physical intimacy is also amplified by the energy you bring after the act itself. When her favorite position is done, when the intensity subsides, do not detach, do not roll away, do not leave her in silence. Hold her, kiss her forehead, trace her skin as if you are still memorizing it. Let her know, through touch and presence, that your connection extends beyond the act. This afterglow is where she will process what just happened, where she will lock the memory into her heart. And when she realizes that you are just as attentive in the stillness as you are in the storm, she will never forget you. Intimacy is not about a single act, a single moment, or even a single night. It is about the way all the small details add up into something larger than life. When she thinks back to her favorite position with you, she will not only recall how her body felt. She will remember the anticipation, the presence, the rhythm, the contrast, the tenderness, the generosity, the vulnerability, the energy, the stillness, the passion, the afterglow. All of these combine to create an experience that is far more than physical. It is an experience that touches every layer of her being, and that is what it means to be unforgettable.